Hi, I'm Dr. Cedric Bryant, President and Chief Science Officer for the American Council on Exercise.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ayman Lee. I'm Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School and also Professor of Epidemiology at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. So I'm here to talk to you about physical activity and health. And the basic question is, what is physical activity? Oftentimes, we use physical activity and exercise interchangeably, but really the two terms are not interchangeable. Physical activity is any bodily movement produced by your skeletal muscles that results in energy expenditure. So if you go down to the basement to do your laundry, you're carrying out physical activity. If you walk to your mailbox to get your mail, you're carrying out physical activity. And it's important to note that all physical activity is good. Exercise is a type of physical activity. So what do I mean by that? When we refer to exercise, we usually refer to something that is planned, that is repetitive, that is structured, and that is done with some purpose in mind. So for example, I might go swimming on weekends because I want to improve my fitness. I might join a running club and go running twice a week because I want to decrease my time in a 5K race that is coming up. So exercise is a type of physical activity. All exercise is counted as physical activity, but not all physical activity is counted as exercise. And I'd like to emphasize that all physical activity is beneficial. So when we think of physical activity and exercise, what are the kinds of physical activities and exercise that we can be doing? Most of the time, we think of aerobic physical activity or aerobic exercise. So there would be things like walking, jogging, playing tennis, swimming. There's also muscle strengthening exercises to build up your muscles. There is balance, which is particularly important for older folks. So balance exercises help us to maintain our balance. What do those look like? For example, you could be standing on one leg. That would be a balance exercise. And the last category of exercise or physical activities I talk about is flexibility exercises. Those help us increase our range of movement of our joints and help us be more flexible.
Physical activity is arguably one of the best things that we can do for improving overall health and well-being. There isn't a system in the body that isn't positively impacted by physical activity. Physical activity lowers our risk for a variety of chronic conditions from type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke. It also is positively impacted and lowers our risk for certain types of cancer. It improves bone health. It improves the function of our muscles so that we can function better and more completely in life. It also improves our mood. Really, it's the closest thing we have to a magic pill, if you will, in that every single thing that we do and every single function that we have in our bodies as humans is greatly improved by being physically active. It's just a matter of getting the right dose of activity.
Based on the large body of research that we have, the current guidelines we follow are from 2018 from the federal government. And these guidelines are somewhat separate for adults aged 18 to 64 years of age and for older adults aged 65 years and older. What do they recommend for adults? So for adults, the recommendations say, first, move more, sit less. Any physical activity is better than none. And then the guidelines target aerobic as well as muscle strengthening activities. For aerobic physical activity, the guidelines say do 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week, or 75 minutes to 150 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity a week, or some combination of the two that results in equivalent energy expenditure. If you can do more than that, that will result in additional health benefits. These are aerobic physical activity recommendations. With regard to muscle strengthening exercises, the guidelines recommend that these be done that involve the major large muscle masses of the body twice a week or more. So these are the guidelines for adults. For older adults aged 65 years and older, essentially the same guidelines are in effect, but the guidelines recognize that as you grow older, you might develop chronic conditions that limit your ability to be physically active. So the guidelines say follow the same guidelines as for adults, but we recognize that with these chronic conditions that you have, you might not be able to do that. So do what you can. Any physical activity is better than none. So a lot of people come up to me and say, oh yeah, I know physical activity. I know exercise is good for your health, but I hate to exercise. I hate getting all sweaty and then having to shower. And what I say to such individuals is, remember, physical activity is good for your health. Exercise is good for your health, yes, and there are folks who like to exercise. There are these people who want to play pickleball, who want to play tennis, who do CrossFit. Good for them, more power to them. But all physical activities are beneficial. What do you like to do? Do you like to garden? That's physical activity. Do you like to walk your dog? That's physical activity. Do you like to dance? That's physical activity. Do you have grandchildren and you love playing with them? That's physical activity. Remember that any activity that helps you to breathe a little bit faster, helps your heart rate to go up, that is moderate intensity physical activity where you can carry on a conversation, but you cannot sing. Any activities of that sort are healthful.
One of the things that we've effectively done in our modern society, if you will, is we've engineered physical activity out of our lifestyles. And most of us are in sedentary occupations where we're sitting all day. And again, we have to be mindful to look to move. And so one of the things that can be quite useful is to use a little reminder in terms of setting a little alarm or alert every hour to cue you to get up and do a couple of minutes of activity. One of the things that we know is that can help to offset the challenges of sitting all day. And for the person who is meeting those guidelines, that can help to offset the typically sedentary time that we spend at the workplace.
So you might ask me, oh, I have a smartwatch. How many steps should I do each day to be healthy? And if you ask people on the street, most people will say, oh, 10,000 steps a day. And as it turns out, if you do 10,000 steps, great, you'll get good health benefits. But 10,000 steps can be very daunting for someone who is not physically active. And we've now seen data from studies suggesting that among older individuals, and by older individuals, I mean individuals who are aged, say, 60 and older. Again, we have the some is more is better. So by some is more, it means that any number of steps that you take does benefit your health. And the more steps you take, the more benefit you have until about 7,500 steps a day. And beyond that, you don't get additional health benefits. That's not to say that you don't want to do it, but the benefits, at least in terms of dying early, sort of flatten. For younger folks, it appears that this flattening of benefits for dying early occurs between 8 to 10,000 steps, and for older folks, between 6 and 8,000 steps.
Whatever change in body weight you make, being physically active can help you to maintain that weight loss. There's a big registry where they track individuals who've lost significant amounts of weight, and what they found is that one of the most powerful predictors of those who were able to successfully keep the weight off after losing it was that they were physically active, meeting those physical activity guidelines. And so I think it was like 93% of the individuals who lost weight and kept it off for a year or more were physically active. So that's a significant benefit. But the other thing I think it's important for all of us to realize is that there are other kind of hidden benefits to being physically active that extend way beyond the scale. All those things that I mentioned earlier with regard to reducing your risk for certain diseases, improving the function of all these various physiological systems, all those things occur irrespective of what happens with your body weight. And so there's a huge benefit to that. And the other thing too is that we all want to live full lives where we can do the things that we want to and need to in life, and being physically active helps us to become better at that regardless of what happens to our body weights. I cannot express this, I think, more clearly and more passionately, in that everyone deserves the type of life that you can experience by becoming regularly involved in physical activity. Physical activity can help you to live better, healthier, more productive, more functional lives. The thing is that start low, go slow, but stay encouraged. Understand that some activity is better than none, while more is better than some. And think of activity like loose change in your pocket. It all adds up to real money at the end of the day. So get started, find something that's fun, and get out there and add years to your life and life to your years.